Hello guys, this is Berman here, and welcome back to another video. And today, this is episode 97, or no, 99 of Desert Survival, and we are starting off in the Nether because I've done a few changes off camera to the bartering system. Well, really, it's just one change and one issue. The change I did was I replaced these, I turned them from glass panes to glass blocks so we don't get any losses. And an issue I've found is that if apparently compare clocks stop working if there's a signal of 15. So basically, if I have 8.5 stacks or more of gold inside that one dropper at a time, it'll stop working. Now, I couldn't find a solution. I mean, I probably could do one, although it would take a lot of redstone, and I'm not really in the mood for it. So for now, I'm just gonna do 8 stacks at a time. I think that's gonna be good enough. But anyway, for this video, we're not gonna be in the Nether, so let's get back into the overworld because today I did not have an idea for what to do. So yeah, we're just gonna be doing some digging. I swear, this has become like a safe thing. Like, if I don't feel like making anything, I just do video me digging. Like, I swear, like, out of the 99 videos so far, I'm pretty sure like at least 20 of them are just me digging. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, I've done so many of them that I'm starting to run out of name ideas. Like, how many names can you possibly do? I think I have one for this episode, but yeah, I don't know. So basically, this episode is just me and one giant rant. Yeah. Since you all know what I'm gonna do already, I'm gonna go back and forth as I have done in the last time we did it. So yeah, anyways, let's get started with this one giant rant, and yeah, I guess I'll see you when I start ranting then. And this rant will be about body positivity. So I'm actually going to split this into two separate sections. One will be in a video soon enough. That'll be about general body positivity. Although this video, I'm going to be talking about the extreme end. The one which probably is what you picture first when you think of body positivity. All of the people, who are morbidly obese, showing off their bodies and that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about this episode. And because of that, this is going to be a dark episode, so viewer discretion advised. Um, this if you want to just see the end, go to the end. I probably don't even need a timestamp since this is really the only important thing in this video. So yeah. Anyways, this is something I've kind of been like occasionally I kind of go back to it, just look at videos just for pure curiosity and also just to watch it and cringe at it, if you know what I mean. The general message is you don't have to worry about your body. You can gain as much weight as possible, and you're gonna be hot if you do so. And if you're thin, you're a fat phobic, ugly bitch. And when I mean thin, I mean a BMI of under 50. And if you don't know how ridiculous that is, BMI 40 is considered morbidly obese. So and a BMI of 30 is considered normally obese. So basically, the distance from normal obesity to morbid obesity, that same distance away from morbid obesity. And just remember, if you don't go quite to that standard, you are a fat phobic loser. Okay? You're an oppressor. You oppress everyone in society, like all of that woke BS you hear all the time. Yeah, they've just twisted it into this sort of narrative like I'm fat and I can control the world. Now, what they're trying to do is what they claim to do is to try to make a more world more inclusive for fat people. Although in reality, what they do is a lot of these people just demand for like ridiculous accommodations, like extra seats on planes or wider hotels or chairs without armrests or things like that, just so that they can fit in it because the world is obviously fat phobic. Oh yeah, they use that as like their term, their slur term. So like how gay people have homophobic, to call someone who's anti-gay, and transphobic there's transphobic for trans people. Well, now we have fat phobic. And yeah, this rant will be very fat phobic from now on. So if you're one of those people in the movement, yeah, you should probably dislike this video and leave. Something else they talk about is how, oh, I'm so sexy because I'm fat, and the fatter you are, the sexier you are, and that sort of stuff. And keep in mind, most of these people are like 300 plus pounds, so it isn't like they have a tiny bit of body fat. They are morbidly obese. If you're a dude, you probably already understand how ridiculous that is. But these girls are like, the only reason why that's a beauty standard and that sort of stuff, oh, that's fat phobia and it's society, and that's why people don't think I'm hot and that sort of stuff. No, you realize there actually is a study. There are studies actually that show that almost all beauty traits are dependent on culture, right? Things that are found attractive or unattractive or that sort of stuff. The only thing that is unanimous throughout every single culture is the fact that men tend to be attracted to women with larger hips and a smaller waist. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily a good, well, I don't know if good thing's the right word to say. I'm not necessarily saying that, like, because of that, you should only go after OnlyFans models and that sort of shit. I legitimately, I mean, that's not for this rant. The other part of body positivity, I'll probably cover that. But yeah, you can, because of that, if you are morbidly obese, you're going to have a large stomach, okay? And the ideal ratio is 0.7, or at least from waist to hip. You are probably like 3.5. You're probably 5 times that. So yeah, of course, because of that, men are most likely not going to find you attractive. Now, yes, I'm well aware there are feeders and that sort of shit. I don't even get me started on that. I think feeder shit is absolutely disgusting. And I know there are some people who are attracted to larger bodies. And to some extent, I am as well. But, when it comes to a point, like, when you're so morbidly obese, and you're starting to like walk worse and that sort of stuff, it comes to a point that, yeah, you might not be that healthy. And that's something else that I forgot to mention. They claim that they're healthier than normal people. Now, if you have two brain cells, you can probably tell how stupid that is. So basically, they claim that they're fat, they're healthy, and all of the side effects that are associated with obesity, so like certain types of cancers, diabetes, dying earlier in general, not being able to walk, like shit like that, they all claim that's fat phobia. And that's just society, straight white men trying to control oppressed groups because they want their privileged asses to stay in power. You can see how this is starting to become a far leftist cult, right? Oh, I'm so attractive. Everyone has to be attracted to me, or else you're discriminating against me. Oh, it's straight white men which are trying to oppress us. That boo them, get rid of them off the earth. Let's just send an asteroid our way to yeet them off the planet. I don't care if there's no way for us to reproduce and the entire human species exist. It's worth it to get all straight white men, those disgusting pigs, off the planet of the earth. It's kind of that energy. And yeah, so now a normal person with a brain would probably be like, yeah, being fat, it's not attractive. Oh yeah, this is girl. Oh, really, it's only girls, by the way. I mean, yeah, I guess there are some guys, although the movement is not meant for guys at all. So yeah, it's like you can see a normal person can probably see, okay, yeah, this movement, fat people, they're generally not considered attractive. They're definitely not healthy, although these people are like blindfolded to the truth. And these body positivity models, it's been long enough that this stuff has been going on for that they're starting to die actually. And they're dying at 35, around that age, which is really scary. Think about it. You've sacrificed half your life. You could have lived, the average life expectancy in the US is, I think, around 76. You could have lived twice as long if you didn't eat yourself to death. And yet you're claiming this is healthy and it's cool and that sort of stuff. Just know they also try to brand it so like, or as some people do, so that their mobility problems are part of them being hot, and it's if society not helping, well, I don't know if not helping is the right word, but depending on the thing, society not helping with those problems. If you could walk perfectly, like what I mean is if you could like walk perfectly fine, for example, for a little while, although you can't for a long time, and someone sees you standing up and walking, they won't give you a wheelchair. That's what I'm talking about. And they use things like that to be like, oh, society's just fat phobic, that sort of stuff. If you're running into problems with mobility, you should probably lose weight. I'm just saying, you should probably do that. They also want to turn the word obese into a slur, and they want to basically get rid of BMI altogether. Now, I don't know about you. They try to use like shirt sizes or whatever to track how fat they are. I don't know about you, but BMI is actually a very helpful tool for me to see, how I stack up and, if I'm healthy or not. Now, yes, there are problems with BMI. I am built like an absolute tank, okay? Like if there was a genetic lottery for who is going to be the thinnest, can be the lightest and, can be basically the fattest without being considered obese, I'd not be a winner of that. I have so much bone mass in my body that it comes to a point that like look like other people who had BMIs like 5 points lower than me, and I'd be like thinner than them. And this has happened multiple times. And this is just because I have a large, I have a lot of bone mass. I'm just built large. And because of that, like, to some extent, BMI is not going to be friendly on me. Like for example, I have not been considered normal weight ever since I was 12, and that I was on the brink of being considered overweight. If like I wasn't normal weight since I was like 7. I was always like with sports I played, and I do perfectly fine. Like I was actually told back when I did play sports, in late elementary school, I was one of the best players. Although I was a lot heavier than most people. I was the weight of some of the tallest kids on our team, while being the height of just an average person. And yet I did just fine. Almost like my weight didn't matter. My body just can hold a lot more weight and just be fine. And a lot of that is because I just have a lot of bone mass. And that ever since hit my growth spurt, that's just been exacerbated by 10 times. Like, for a while, I mean now I kind of ran into an issue where my weight kind of spiked a bit. But for the longest time, and I haven't even noticed that much of a difference physically, but for the longest time, I was considered to have a BMI of 28, or at least for the past 4 years. So that's considered overweight, right? Not obese, but overweight. And I was doing, and like physically, I was doing just fine. I was doing, if anything, better than I was when I was 11, when I was considered normal weight. So that gap has just, and also I looked at like how much, how large my stomach is per se compared to my body, and it is also roughly around the same. I mean, I think I am a bit larger, but I mean that is kind of to be expected with a BMI difference of 5. So yeah, I am not lucky whatsoever with BMI, and I actually have recently been uh using BMI, or at least I've been using it as a tool that I've been subtracting 5 from my total BMI. I don't know if this is just pure delusion, although I've been doing that because I feel like it's more accurate at that point. Like now I have a BMI of around 31, I think. Although I've been treating it as like 26 because I'm not running into any physical issues. It's more like and I don't look obese either. It's more like I'm just a bit overweight, and I just have a stupid amount of bone mass, which is what tips me over the edge. So yes, BMI isn't always the most accurate, although if you're considered morbidly obese, you should probably lose some weight. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, I know, okay, I know it's really hard, and yeah, it's not all, and yeah, I mean, I'm well aware that there are certain conditions that kind of make you obese. Like, for example, I've noticed a lot of short people tend to be really large. I'm sorry, short kings. I feel really bad for you all in many different ways, but yeah, that's just unfortunate. Another one is I actually knew someone who legitimate problems with her body. Like if she got up, she'd always like hurt and that sort of stuff. And so yeah, there are excuses. Although these people are just most of the people in the body positivity community, these people are not like that. They're just normal people who've just gotten really large and like are like, I'm fat, I'm healthy, I can change it, but I don't give a shit because society is fat phobic and I want to embrace my obesity and I want to glorify it. And part of this I actually personally find a bit offensive, and here's why. You see, I've said this quite a bit. I don't know how much I've said this on my YouTube channel, although I have said it like in person a lot. For a part of my childhood, I was actually considered obese. And I don't mean it as like just slightly overweight like I am now. I mean like actually obese. So, and this is only part of it. So I know how it feels to be both obese as a child and not obese as a child. And the reason why I'm putting up this experience is because I feel like a lot of this is reaching into the minds of children. And they're being like, oh yeah, obesity is healthy. Let's glorify it. I want to be obese when I'm older. I want to be one of these fat activists. And they're having fun. I want to have fun too. And let me tell you, coming from someone who was obese as a child for some point period of time, you can actually see it in some of my old videos, like my old vlogs. You can see that I was obese. I went from, if you're wondering, I was at my heaviest, this was when I was 14, 5'0" and 170 pounds. And that equates for a BMI of roughly 33. This was so heavy that even with my larger body, I was running into well, I don't know if mobility problems is the right word, although I was running into stamina problems. Like I couldn't do the sports I loved. Like I had to quit all of them because I couldn't last that long. I couldn't stand up that long. And overall, it was just miserable to do that. Also, I've ran into so many different mental health problems. I mean, part of it could have been like the general ideology I had at the time. I mean, if you're wondering the reason why, it was because of medicine, which I think probably made it even worse. And also, I wasn't growing at all. But yeah, it was to the point that like it was ruining my life. Like my entire body was just weighing me down. I couldn't stand up for long periods of time. I remember when I did pacer, I'd only get like 20 or whatever before my legs would just give up. It was horrible. And I wish no fate and I wish nobody that. Like not even my worst enemy. Like that must have been horrible. Now I know being an obese as an adult, I don't think it's that bad because you aren't a child anymore. You aren't as energetic. But being obese as a child, it just makes everything so much worse. It ruins, like, you could have had so much fun otherwise. But instead, you have all of this weight weighing you down. You can't do any sports. You can't have fun with your friends. And not to mention, you have to deal with all of the insecurities because most children aren't obese. So find it I find it really disgusting how there is this movement which is promoting child obesity because it has like been so horrible for me in the past. When I actually, me being a legitimate experiencer of it, it was horrible. And I wish nobody that. And I hate it how this is just a general mainstream thing. And people are legitimately like looking up to it. It's just disgusting, I feel like. It's wrong. It's just wrong. Anyways, I think that's probably enough rambling about that. I'm gonna get back to the video, so yeah. I think once I'm done with this section and maybe that one lane, I'll hop right back to the video. And this area is complete now, so I'm gonna get rid of these 3 sections off camera, and hopefully they will be done by next episode. So yeah, this wasn't really an episode for building anything. Next episode's gonna be a special one, and I didn't really want to start a project and not finish it at that time, so I kind of just had to do this. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out!